Hey guys, thanks for joining me. And if you like what you see, please subscribe.
Hello, peoples. Welcome to Sharp Ends. Have I got a review for you today? This is the Reate PL-7. I just did a disassembly link flashing up there, right there. One of the scariest things I've ever done in my life. Spoiler alert, I did not end up taking apart the pivot lock, which I got down to the last thing and I had to take apart these last 3 screws in here to really open it all up. And I was just afraid of the springs and everything else going flying everywhere. So I couldn't finally commit, but I did get a chance to look at this and how it was built. And I will tell you from my disassembly that I think that this knife is really good. Like Reate is known for their machining ability, and rightly so in my estimation. This is definitely right up there. This is just under $100. There's lots of different variations of this. I got this with the Ultim and the slightly anodized pocket clip and filler. And yeah, just machined really well. So let's get into the meat and potatoes of this review. But first, could you smash that like button, leave a comment? It really helps the channel. And as always, thanking my Patreon supporters. So this knife is just sexy, and I really like the shape of it. I really like the belt sanding of this. This is Nitro V. Nitro V is one of my favorite steels, especially for under $100, and this is just under $100. If you come by a custom maker and they're making Nitro V, or they're using Nitro V or 14C28N, or ABL, rest assured it's a knife steel that's formula is great, and it is rust resistant, and it'll stay sharp. It's easy to sharpen, very easy to work with. It'll take very fine geometry on the edge, and overall I think it's a great steel, if not my favorite these days. A lot of people look down their nose at Nitro V, but I think it's great. This knife, for its practical uses, you know, it is surprisingly practical. I mean, I did carry this. It does take a little bit of pocket space. This pivot lock itself is very robust, and it locks out too. I guess because they're worried that if you're holding it real tight, or you're doing it like a pinch grip, you might accidentally like put your pressure on the thing, and then you could accidentally, you know, if this wasn't locked, you could accidentally close it on your fingers or something, and that would be bad. So I appreciate that. Oh, by the way, that's anodized as well. That little lock bar is anodized as well. Action on this is great. I don't think you can really adjust the action though. Let me test my theory about that. I said in the disassembly that you couldn't adjust the action, but yeah, I'm just afraid to unscrew that. I tried to tighten this and I couldn't do it. And I don't know if you can adjust the detent action with that or not. But it locks out really well, and it's innovative, which I really appreciate. Here you can see when I push the button on the other side, you can see how that little oblong oval shape is going up and down, and that's fitting into the blade. Like there's obviously a shape in the blade cut out. So yeah. But as far as practical, you know, this big swooping thing, scimitar type knife, I appreciate. I think it's a sexy, interesting design. This knife is a little bit thicker because the PL takes up a little bit extra room. Now, I did do a review of the PL-5, I think it was called. I gave that one away to my Patreon supporters. It was hard to get too. It was the copper version. But I love my Patreon supporters. They're awesome. And it was thick, like for a small little pocket knife, and that's because the pivot lock takes up a little bit of extra room. So is the pivot lock worth it? I think so, especially for people who might be worried, have mobility issues in their hands, might have a little, you know, they want a secure lock, but getting their thumb in there for a liner lock might be harder. And there's other locks too that might be better for this, but being able to just put your thumb here and squeeze and have it go down, super easy. So there's an argument to say that this is something that, but beyond that too, it's just a cool new lock. It works really well. I mean, a button lock would do practically the same thing, but there's more area here. This is obviously very secure, and it's not going to fail on you. And they've thought about the instances where it could fail on you. Now, the overall look of this knife, I think, is great, and I'm not a big fan of speed holes, but they've got this window cut in the Ultim here where you see the speed holes, which is pretty nice. And also, because this is Ultim, and I think they make versions of this which is just solid, but because it's Ultim, you can see how it works, and that's one of the reasons why I got it this way. Dimensions on this, overall we're looking at 8, and the sharpened, because it has a big swoop, it's hard to say what what the total edge length is, but this says 3.5 inches, and it's probably more like 3.25 or something like that because of how big that belly actually is. But this is going to be really good for, this is very good for slashing cuts. Came very sharp. Like I said, it's Nitro V, so you can sharpen this up to a very fine geometry. Really appreciate also that they've made this reversible for the lefties. That should just, I mean, that shouldn't be a feature. That shouldn't be something that you have to point out. But, you know, they take that into account, and I appreciate it. The machining on this handle, the micro bevels right here, I really like this, how it swoops down. I really like the back spacer as well, how that back spacer comes to a point right here, and then there's a gap between the two, meaning that when you close this, oops, it's locked. You can, the tip of the sharpened edge is actually in there, and you can't reach it. There's no way of getting it, but it's right there, and I just find that really cool. The action on this, like you can push button this, as well as light switch it. The light switching is a little bit easier on this knife, but push buttoning is fine too. Yeah. So you can't reverse flick it because it doesn't have a thumb stud. I kind of wish it did have something like that because I do enjoy that, but it's not there. You can choke up on it. It does have a sharpening choil, so it's pretty easy to do that. And it has a little bit of jimping here on top as well. But holding it back here is absolutely fine for your cutting tasks. I like the different kind of finishes on this blade too. It's like a stone wash up here where the Reate is, and then belt sanded down here to the secondary bevel. Feels very thin behind the edge. Of course, this is a saber grind with a swedge up top, making it come to a very fine point. So definitely a pokey knife. And the Nitro V is right there. Reate's heat treat is usually very good, so I assume that their heat treat on their Nitro V is also going to be very good. And I really do like the touch that they've, even though this is a bent clip, that they've anodized it and they've added these three things. So overall, is this worth $100? Absolutely. If you're curious about a PL pivot lock type system, go for it. If you're braver than me and you take apart that pivot, well, yeah, great. Please tell me if someone has gone ahead and taken it all the way apart and gotten into that pivot and got it back together. I'd like to see that video. Thanks so much for joining me today. Like, subscribe, leave a comment. It really helps the channel. Thank you to my Patreon supporters who for $3 a month get a chance to win a knife of the month by becoming a Patreon member. Help support making content like this. I take that money that the Patreon supporters give me, and I've only got like 17 of them. And I take that money and I buy a knife, and then I review it, and then I give it to them. So, seems like a pretty sweet deal. As always, stay sharp, my friends. I'll see you next time on Sharp Ends. Bye-bye now.